So we have a pretty interesting tidbit from Apple's own Bluetooth database suggesting a new mysterious product that's launch could be imminent. Now this product goes under the codename B2002, and obviously that isn't going to be the name of the final product, but the category this product falls under is personal computer, and so this leads me to believe this could be a multitude of products, but specifically could be a new iPad, or what I think is more likely, a new Mac. In fact, I think it's a 16-inch MacBook Pro coming at the upcoming March event, and so let's discuss that possibility as well as other alternative theories I have. And so without further ado, make sure to like and subscribe, click that notification for the latest Apple news and rumors, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Now, Mac Rumors was the one that found this mysterious product in the Bluetooth database, and interestingly, this was filed back in October 2020. And so this initially led me to believe that this could have been the AirTags or the Apple TV that we should have seen, well, a year ago. Because we know that somewhere in Apple's HQ, both AirTags and Apple TV allegedly are pretty much ready for release, but Apple, for some weird reason, is delaying this. And so, of course, filing these in the database because they are pretty much ready for release does make a lot of sense. But there is a little problem with that theory, and that is the fact this product goes under the category personal computer, like I mentioned. So, of course, AirTags and Apple TV aren't really personal computers. In fact, Apple uses that category for iPads and Macs. And so that led me to believe this could be the next iPad Pro. Now, I can't lie, this theory does have some substance, and it does seem pretty likely because we've been hearing about a mini LED iPad Pro for what seems like forever now. In fact, you might remember back in the early days of 2020, John Prosser was the one that told us a mini LED iPad with 5G would release at the end of 2020. But of course, by the time we got to the end of the year, it apparently was delayed for March 2021 due to production issues with mini LED due to the pandemic. And so again, because this was filed in October, it does make sense that Apple might have filed this thinking it would be ready for launch by the end of 2020, but of course forgot to remove it because of the delays they've been experiencing. But of course, this is not an airtight theory, and this is why I think it's less likely than the Mac theory, which I'll discuss in a bit, and that is because there is only one filing for one product. And of course, you might know the iPad Pro comes in two sizes. Now, of course, if you've been on this channel for a while, you might know that I've discussed the possibility of the 11-inch iPad Pro being discontinued, and so this could add to that theory. I mean, a part of me still does somewhat believe that because we have got no real credible information about a mini LED 11-inch iPad Pro. The spotlight in the leaks has always been about the 12.9-inch model, and in fact, Digitimes, a very credible source that has connections within the supply chain, still claims till this day that there are only orders for a 12.9-inch mini LED panel, not an 11-inch size too. Ultimately, I don't think Apple would kill off the 11-inch size or the smaller iPad Pro as a concept. I definitely do feel that in the future, it could become a 12-inch size to differentiate it from the iPad Air, but for the time being, I do see the 11-inch size sticking around. Also, what's interesting about this database is that, of course, Apple breaks down all these collection of devices by, of course, which lineup they're in. For example, we have one for the iPhone, the iPad, AirPods, Macs, and so on. And so it's interesting we see this product fall under the Mac category. Because yes, this whole discovery of this new product from Apple was discovered because Apple recently filed the M1 machines in the database. So the M1 Air, the M1 Pro, and of course the Mac Mini. And so this suggests to me that this has to be some sort of Mac. And there is only one Mac that was allegedly ready for release in late 2020, and that is the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So obviously I've been discussing at length the possibilities of a new Mac or a collection of Macs coming at the March event, and this could be adding to that theory in a substantial way. So if we cast our minds back, Mark Gurman told us back in October 2020 that a 16-inch MacBook Pro with Apple Silicon was in the works, but it might be delayed because of production issues. And now in 2021, we know this 16-inch MacBook Pro with Apple Silicon that was supposedly getting ready for a release back at the M1 event was delayed. And so of course, if it's in production or is nearing production, that pretty much means this product is imminent in terms of release, and the next big event we're about to see is the March event taking place on the 16th. To add to this, we also have Sonny Dixon, a less reliable source, but anyways, he does tell us that a new iPad Pro, an iPad mini, and a 16-inch MacBook Pro should be launching at this upcoming March event. And also, to add to this theory, I had a realization that the 16-inch MacBook Pro we have today is the first ever MacBook Pro that hasn't been updated in over a year. Because yes, ever since the conception of the MacBook Pro back in 2006, we've consistently seen at least one refresh to the lineup each year. And so the fact Apple left out an update in 2020 is definitely interesting. And it also adds to Mark Gurman's leak that yes, they were planning to release a model at the end of 2020, but because of delays that could have been due to the pandemic, it's been pushed to, of course, early 2021. Now, of course, a lot of people have told me a 16-inch redesign happening in March is a tad early, and so I do have an alternate theory as to what this 16-inch MacBook Pro could really be. Now, of course, having multiple MacBook refreshes isn't something new. We've had this in the past. For example, the 16-inch MacBook Pro was a replacement to the 15-inch a mere 6 months after its release. So clearly Apple will give us as many refreshes as they want. And so maybe to hold us over till those redesigns that could be coming out later in the year, Apple releases a simple chip refresh for the time being. In fact, I've discussed the possibility of that in previous videos, which of course you can check out in the iCard above, but the fact we have only one product in this database leads me to believe that this is very likely, because I don't think Apple will release a redesigned 16-inch MacBook Pro without its 14-inch cousin, and so those could be delayed. And of course, for the time being, for professionals who desperately need a new Mac with Apple Silicon, Apple gives us a simple chip refresh, so the M1X, but in the same body. Especially with the boom Apple's seen in sales because of the whole work from home situation, I think taking advantage of this as soon as possible and releasing Apple Silicon machines as fast as possible does seem like the right thing to do. Not to mention, there are plenty of people waiting for an Apple Silicon refresh to the 16-inch MacBook Pro, but they don't really care about the redesign and the potential price hike we could see with this redesign. And so, of course, releasing a simple chip refresh in March with roughly the same prices might be something a lot of people would be interested in. Of course, these are just theories based on the information out there. I could be completely wrong. And so let me know what you think this mysterious product could be in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click that notification for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out a video here in the icon above about the iPhone Flip that could be coming very soon. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.